Greeting from the Nur-Sultan studio, and good morning or good afternoon to everyone. We're very happy to continue the session of today, which is dedicated to the role of gas in the energy transition in both Russia and Kazakhstan. And I am presented in two kinds here. I'm first the host and a moderator of this session, which is prepared for you by KAZENERGY and especially by the distinguished St. Petersburg International Gas Forum, with which we are hosting a teleconference. And I'm going to moderate the session all together with Mikhail Smirnov. Mr. Smirnov is the president of the Energy Innovation Association of St. Petersburg. And our panel is presented by the distinguished speakers, presented from the Kazakh side, by the Minister of Energy, Mr. Murat Jurebekov, First Vice Minister, and Abzal Kismetov, Deputy General Director of Intergaz Central Asia of Kazakhstan. And in terms of the energy and the weather forecast, I've got a positive news for you. The first snow I mentioned yesterday has melted today, so our impact on the ecosystem has decreased. I'm very happy, so I'm switching into Russian for this session, and I'm giving the floor to Mr. Smirnov. Mikhail Mikhailovich, пожалуйста.
Please, Mr. Smirnov, let's together moderate this session. Dear colleagues, it's my pleasure to greet all of us at the joint meeting. Today we have a big activity in the territory of the Gas Forum in St. Petersburg. So I want to specifically highlight those people to the merit of which we are here. Expo Forum, the best platform in Russia, the organizers of today's St. Petersburg activity, Global Energy Council, dear members, dear colleagues with whom we meet and talk at various international platforms, continuously have meetings in St. Petersburg within the framework of the Russian Energy Forum in the same audience halls. In the course of St. Petersburg Economic Forum, in Davos, etc. So together with the colleagues, we have a global common vision about what's going on in the global energy, in global economy. I'm happy that today we are having another round of joint activity. Of course, our dear colleagues from KAZENERGY, from the Republic of Kazakhstan, I'm happy that we are having this activity today. I thank all organizers. I think today's agenda is quite powerful. It is taking place in a very complicated time. Yesterday, two symbolic big events have taken place. They are directly associated with our agenda. Yesterday, there was a successful launch from Baikonur of the first cinema crew into the space. I think this is a big symbol of cooperation between Russia and Kazakhstan, our brotherhood, our unbreakable economic cooperation. This is the symbol that brings us to space altitude. And the second event, yesterday, global spot prices on gas have gone up. The last figure was in excess to $1,000 per 1,000 cubic meters, something that was never seen before, but that opens up for our countries tremendous, on one side, perspectives, because Russia and Kazakhstan are outstanding, great oil and gas producing countries. But at the same time, we must all understand that those are challenges, technological challenges, because prices always achieve such the level that whips the development of technology, including renewables, and another round of industrial revolution. Today, it is believed to be the fourth industrial revolution. So, together with Kazakhstan, we are in the same boat and in the same tremendously complicated historic period, the fourth industrial revolution. We have quite similar challenges in front of us. We have very similar technological basis and designs because of joint history, culture, geographical positioning. You probably know that our state border is the lengthiest in the world. So we have a lot of competitive advantages of the global magnitude. Kazakhstan, in its petroleum industry, is one of the most dynamically developing countries in the world without any exaggeration in oil production. After the collapse of the USSR, Kazakhstan would produce 20 million tons per year. Today, Kazakhstan produces in excess to 90, so the growth is 4 times. In gas, Kazakhstan is a member of the top 30 of gas-producing countries. Our presidents had a meeting on the 30th of September discussing various types of cooperation, and both Presidents Putin and Tokayev highlighted the importance of gas in our cooperation as well as high potential for that. So let us discuss all those problematics today. Wonderful, Mikhail. Thank you very much. We congratulate the Russian side on such a wonderful technological news. And we are proud that the global human space program was launched in the land of Kazakhstan, and undoubtedly it will play a decisive role in the development of science and technology of the whole mankind. But when we talk about technological breakthroughs, it is important to remember that it is not possible without developed energy. No energy, no technological, no industrial development, no any type of development. So from the standpoint of energy transition, according to Bloomberg, in the last 15 years, the investments into renewables have grown up by 17 times and have totaled $4 trillion US, and today's the aggregate capacity of renewables, I mean solar, wind, and others, today is in excess to 1,000 gigawatts. That's a lot. Nevertheless, greenhouse gas emissions, CO2 carbonization, the process has not stopped yet. And what makes it more interesting, and experts will agree, today the drastic transition to renewables without losses is impossible. So we have to seek out the ways how to implement it, because the climate change agenda keeps pressing on us. It is of tremendous topicality for all of us. So I wanted to say again that recent events in Germany have demonstrated how dependent on the nature, on the storage, and on transportation of energy we are. Germany is an obvious leader in the field. Today they have a new term, Dunkelflaute, which means stoppages in the provision of energy, bringing society to critical levels. So in connection with that, the only type of fossil fuel which renders the least impact on nature is the gas. And we know that when we talk about hydrogen electricity, yesterday a lot has been said about hydrogen. 78% of hydrogen is produced from gas. So underestimating gas is impossible. Russia is a leading gas producer. Kazakhstan possesses significant resources. Central Asia, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan possess significant gas resources. That makes gas the most preferred, the most dominating type of fuel that will feed the energy transition. So it is of special pleasure for me to give the floor to a person who directly supervises industrial development in our country. That is Mr. Murat Jurebekov, First Vice Minister of Energy of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Please, you are given the floor. Good day, dear colleagues. I greet all of you on behalf of the Ministry of Energy of the Republic of Kazakhstan, as well as our Russian colleagues at this session dedicated to the role of gas in energy balance and its potential as the most environmental fuel. Also, we will highlight the role of gas in energy transition, the thing that today is being actively discussed. So Mikhail has just emphasized that in Europe, the prices have gone up to historical maximum. Every day they break records, showing to all of us how demanded the type of fuel is among consumers in Europe. Also, the high gas price is supported by the growing demand in Asia, which means that gas can compete and must compete with other environmentally clean carriers of energy. As the Republic of Kazakhstan, our country, its reserves takes the 22nd place in the world and third place among CIS countries after Russia and Turkmenistan. Our State Commission on Reserves has approved our gas reserves at the level of 3.8 trillion cubic meters. Gas is mainly associated gas that we produce, and its production depends on production of oil. 90% of gas production comes from major international petroleum projects such as Karachaganak, Kashagan, Tengiz, and Zhanazhou. So throughout the period of independence in 2020, the gas production totaled 55 billion cubic meters in 2020. That is 7 times more than the level of production of gas in 1991. And this year, you probably know, we are celebrating 30 years anniversary of independence of Kazakhstan. More than 1/3 of produced associated gas was reinjected into formation for maintaining the bed pressure. A certain portion was used to generate electric. Gas processing totaled 28 billion cubic meters, out of which volume 60% was sent to domestic market and 40% was sent for exports. In the nearest future, we envisage to see the growth of gas consumption within the country. It will achieve some 25 billion cubic meters by 2025 and some 30 billion cubic meters by 2030.
The growth of consumption will provide the gasification of the regions as well as the petroleum plants that will use the gas as the raw material. We need to mention that in Kazakhstan, we are developing the petroleum sector industry, and nowadays we are constructing one of the largest plants on polypropylene in the region, 500 tons per year. We have big plans regarding construction, the polyethylene and ethanol and butadiene, and as well as the largest part of which we are discussing within the frameworks of cooperation with the Russian companies, Tatneft and Super Holding. And regarding the pricing, I would like to mention that according to the law of the Republic of Kazakhstan in gas and gas supply, we regulate the prices in the domestic market and the liquid gas within the frameworks of the supply to the domestic market. According to the agreements with the authorities in charge in spheres of the natural monopolies, we establish the limited prices of the trade sales gas for the investors, for the industrial consumer that buy the gas for the fuel or the raw material in the production and manufacturing. The next category, those who consume the sales gas of the CG or the LG for the further realization by the consumer, and the one that is in the list of electric stations, power stations. So basically, we have our approved and established formula for pricing, according to which we provide gas, we offer gas for these above-mentioned categories of consumers. Let me tell you a few words more regarding the export of gas. Kazakhstan has a powerful magistral for the gas system. The total length of pipeline is more than 20,000 kilometers across the republic. Based on the principles of the great variety of vectors to the external and internal markets, so we try to develop all the economically beneficial routes to distribute and transportation of sales gas. And since 2017, we started the first time to provide the domestic gas regarding the direction of Chinese People's Republic, by means of which diversifying the export routes. Nowadays, the long-term contract and agreement with the gas supply to up to 10 billion cubic meters. The export of our gas is provided by means of different transportations to the east by the Asian pipeline as well. Despite the fact that nowadays the volume and amount of Kazakhstani gas to China is not that great, it was just 7.5 billion cubic meters, the construction and exploitation of this gas artery has changed the placing of the position in the region, and Kazakhstan has taken its place in the growth of interest to the gas in Central Asia. According to 2020, we have exported more than 10 billion cubic meters, more than 7 billion to China, and about 3 billion to Russian Federation. When it comes to the usage of the gas using in transportation sphere, within the terms of development of the green energy and transferring to the renewables and alternative energies, large companies, transnational companies pay great attention to the needs and necessities to the international economy, to have the key orients for its development in the future. One of the main sources of the pollution during the geological exploration and petroleum and oil deposits of the products of burning the gas and utilization of this accompanying gases during the last year has taken the governmental meaning, and one of the tasks of the deposits users which do their activities at the territory of our country. According to the code of the Republic of Kazakhstan, it is forbidden to burn the natural gas in these lanterns at the stage of the extracting. Just in case of emergencies, it is accepted. And legally, it is established the obligations and liabilities on the processing the raw gas, where it is written about the amount of processing, extracting of the natural gases. And during the realization of this program, the volume of the burned gas has decreased from 3 billion cubic meters in 2006 up to 400 million, almost 8 times less during the last 15 years. So generally speaking, it has an impact on the ecological situation in the regions of the country, allows to have the rational and reasonable usage of our natural resources, especially to use this for the natural gas usage. Plus, we are working in the direction of moving to the gas as our large consumers that export their goods abroad. In particular, mostly they supply to the markets of EU, and we all are getting ready to meet this initiative of European Union on implementing the carbon border tax. And we are, all these events are being held in order to decrease this carbon footprint and to transfer from coal generation to the gas generation. plus transfer of transportation sector on consumption of natural gas as the vehicle fuel instead of petrol, diesel, which was used traditionally, it will have the successful, sustainable effect. In Kazakhstan, at this moment, we have more than 20 automobile gas compressor, which is not significant, of course, at the moment, but nevertheless, the trend is on building capacity and increasing these vehicles, automobile compressor stations. So the key trend of this year is expanding the market of the natural liquid gas, and we see how large companies, and especially in Russian Federation, are developing this in southern Siberia, for example. And over here, we also have long-term perspectives in Kazakhstan. And the main consumer can be the industrial enterprises that I was mentioning in sphere of utilities, transportation companies, and sectors of constructions, individual constructions. So I would like to engage them and to address this to them, to have the collaboration between Russia and Kazakhstan to work on some joint projects in this direction. The industry of gas, its transportation and its storage in May of this year, we have launched and opened with the participation of specialists from Russia and China, the first petrol station that you can use this gas to as a fuel, and it is safety, ecologically friendly, low cost comparing with other types of fuel. So the big role of gas in the future, government will support all measures in the sphere and this push to develop the gas sector, especially the dry gas fuel. It was done by the first president of the country, Mr. President, the head of the government at this moment, Mr. Tokayev, has these systematic tasks for us regarding the development of this sector. And the Ministry of Energy is ready to design and develop the specific levels, preferences regarding investments into new gas projects. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much. And I would like to give the floor now at the moment to the speaker from our side, to the chairman of the Committee on Energy of Duma, the president of Russia Gas Community, Mr. Zavальный. Maybe you will start from the tribune because we have cameras for our teleconference. So please. Thank you. The floor is yours. Thank you. Good afternoon, dear participants, dear guests, Kazakhstani colleagues. And I worked in the Russian gas sector, and I started in gas sector in Kazakhstan. I had the practice before getting my diploma. So such an interesting story regarding this gas sector. So distinguished colleagues, what I wanted to mention, energy transfer takes place, yes. And especially in some countries, importers, they are trying to accelerate it using the political measures. And we see what it leads to when 10,000s of people actually stay without energy. So the high price of accelerating it, and then the perspectives of decreasing and reduction of investments. And we have such issues, and especially about the wind aspects, and politicians and policymakers, they try to speed it up and accelerate these activities, the policy of the Western world, and that we will face some difficulties for the suppliers and providers, and it will be strengthening at implementing some taxes, some special fees, and based on the national strategy and the different levels. So we're coming to the new normality or turbulency. I would say maybe some kind of new normality. And of course, Russia see all these challenges, and we are working on the perspective of our energy, and more than half of what's produced we export, and it makes the economy of our country. It forms the budget as federal as the regional as well. So we need to be not just the observers in this energy transfer, but also our task is to be the leader in this transfer, especially the hydrogen energy. When it comes to the natural gas, implementing this hydrogen in transportation, such as in big energy, the implementation of hydrogen, it participates in all programs, all the decreasing and reduction of the emissions. So we need to use all the best practices. So regarding the perspective of collaboration by 2025, we need Russia, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Belarus to create the common market of Eurasian Economic Union. It's clear and understandable that all the documents are signed. There is no doubt that it will take place, especially when we have the Russian market, which is more advanced regarding the different products regarding this petroleum goods, and we are discussing about refusing the customs fees. But again, at the same time, this is one of the products, energy resource, that the price can be regulated in our country as well as in Kazakhstan. And here we have some difficulties. The concept of development of the market, if it was accepted 3 years ago, in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So now we are moving to form this common unified market, and the work is being done at the platform of the Russian Gas Society in order to create the real market conditions in terms of for the fair pricing for business in particular, and to provide the access to all the participants of this infrastructure. So the basement of forming this market, it will be Russia plus Kazakhstan, of course, those countries that produce the gas, then the process, and there is a unified system of gasification, gas provision and supply. And the Kazakhstan system is historically connected with the Russian one. It creates the common network. And literally speaking, this year and next year, we need to make all the main decisions to create this market at the territory of Eurasian Economic Union. And it comes in perspective when we speak about gas at our market, and international speaking at the world and technologies of liquidation to use different technologies. And
it is expensive, as well as reverse transportation. We have a uniform network of roads. We must use all of that because such cooperation develops all countries of the Union, and we're all interested in that. So, by the way, every year we have the annual forum of the Russian Gas Society. The next one will take place in Moscow on 17th of December. And I'm inviting all of you because a session will be dedicated to formation of common market for development of joint vision on the topic. And we want to make the market more competitive, and we wanted to develop within the conditions of the transition. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pavel Nikolaevich. Great thanks, many thanks. I wanted to emphasize that personally, for myself, it's of great pleasure to have a panel session with individuals with engineering backgrounds. I know that Nikolai Vasilievich is a graduate from the Baumanka School. He is a technical science doctor. In Kazakhstan, our panelists are also all engineers. That is why their speeches are straight straight to the point, logical, and laconic. So if we talk about gas and transportation, not only production in Kazakhstan, I would like to give the floor to our representative, Deputy Director General of our major gas company, Intergaz Central Asia, Mr. Abzal Kismetov. Mr. Kismetov, you are given the floor. Good day, dear colleagues. Good day, dear participants of today's forum. Joint stock company KazTrансGaz is the national operator for gas and gas provision in the Republic of Kazakhstan. Our main task as a national company is to provide quality operator services in all systems of main and distribution gas lines in Kazakhstan. Our main task is to sell gas, transport, store it, operate main gas lines, storage facilities, as well as distribution networks. So as of today, as already said, we operate more than 20,000 kilometers of main pipelines and more than 50,000 kilometers of distribution networks. Also, we have 319 gas pumping stations. We have 236 infrastructure objects and 3 subsurface storage facilities, gas storage facilities. In the last 3 years, we have implemented a number of new projects to increase our transit capacity. That is particularly Beynel Bazoy compressor stations, new compressor stations, transportation of natural gas from the fields to new compressor stations. KazTrансGaz pays special attention to the reduction of emissions into air as well as greenhouse emissions into atmosphere. We have, for that, we have contracted providers of gas turbines, Sirius, Mars 100, and solar. Also, we have bought some clean machinery from Caterpillar. So every quarter we undergo environmental monitoring with the purpose to reduce emissions. Also, within the framework of the Digital Kazakhstan national program, we have introduced and proceed to introduce the informational and analytical tools and methodologies in our practices. That is inclusive of full automation of various modules, starting from transportation, analysis, tubular diagnostics, selection of tools for protection, for cathodic protection, and other things. Also, we have the new automatic geoinformational system that allows us to automate the collection of data, digitization of data. Today, in our single dispatching center, we are unwinding the full automation of the processes of management of all technological processes. Also, today, under leadership of the Ministry of Energy, we have designed the concept and development of the gas industry of the Republic of Kazakhstan. And currently, that strategy is being endorsed and approved. And we are establishing new targets, for example, by 2030. 2030, as Mr. Jurebekov has said, we anticipate the growth in the domestic production in gas and domestic consumption of gas. the domestic consumption has grown up from 9 billion to 14 billion cubic meters, and we anticipate that the domestic consumption will be in excess to 20 billion cubic meters of gas. In preparing itself to that, currently the company is designing new projects aimed at encouragement of the growth of the domestic market. Also, within the framework of the Eurasian Economic Union and under the leadership of the Ministry of Energy, we are actively working together with the Eurasian Economic Union institutions to unify some of regulations, technological norms, technical regulations. In that activity, we received support from the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs at Atomican. We want to reform the labor market and create the common market in gas in the Eurasian Economic Union. We continuously interact with other gas companies of the CIS. So as of today, the natural gas occupies a special place in the structure of global energy and may constitute a good competition to renewables. This is it on my side. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Abzal. Thank you. We all know that at present we see the process of the formation of a new legal entity. KazTrансGaz is a separate legal entity, and KazTrансGaz is supposed to become a separate gas player, separate from KazMunayGas National Company. We wish you successes. I know that you have big projects in the sphere of development of gas transportation. You have excellent potential for that. Today you have mentioned about new projects in which you are using solar turbines as well as Caterpillar engines. And today in our studio, we have a special guest, first executive vice president of Caterpillar, and at the same time, the president of solar turbines at global level, Tomas Pellet. So I want to say that Caterpillar is for Russia and for Kazakhstan. Caterpillar is a special company. We remember Caterpillar from the old Soviet times. We know that the company has been operating in Eurasia for more than 100 years, including Russia and Kazakhstan. In the old Soviet times, Caterpillar was operating in Kazakhstan and Russia. Today's Moscow office of Caterpillar interacts with all of the former Soviet countries, the whole of CIS, that is inclusive of Kazakhstan. So in Kazakhstan, Caterpillar and solar turbines have a lot of projects and big plans to develop their businesses in Kazakhstan. It is my pleasure to give the floor to Tomas Pellet, First Executive Vice President, Caterpillar Eurasia. Thomas, please.
Deputy Minister Jurebekov, Representative Zavaldny, Mr. Kismetov, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to join you here at the St. Petersburg International Gas Forum. Thank you for giving me the honor to make these remarks. As Mikhail mentioned, for over 100 years, Caterpillar has been active in the Eurasian market, and together with our expansive network of authorized dealers, we employ over 5,000 people in Russia and over 1,000 in Kazakhstan. Our company, Solar Turbines, is very active with over 220 gas turbine packages in Russia and 40 in Kazakhstan, sold since 1974. Together with Caterpillar, Solar Turbines is honored to support you as you build the infrastructure this region relies on. And we appreciate our close collaboration with our local customers, especially over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our relationships with you extend well beyond the initial sale of our equipment. Through our extensive network of local field service representatives, we remain closely connected to our customers as we provide parts and service throughout the entire equipment life cycle. Growing and preserving these relationships is our priority. Today, I would like to focus on sustainability and our carbon reduction efforts. Caterpillar and Solar are committed to sustainability. Sustainability is a part of who we are and is what we do every single day. We have a legacy of providing products and services that continually improve the quality of the environment and communities by fulfilling society's basic needs, such as shelter, clean water, education, and reliable energy in a sustainable way. Caterpillar is committed to contributing to a reduced carbon future. We demonstrate this in many ways, including through our significant progress in reducing greenhouse gas emissions from our operations and our continued investment in new products, technologies, and services to help our customers achieve their climate-related objectives as they build a better, more sustainable world. We are helping our customers achieve their climate-related goals by providing products that facilitate fuel transition, increased operational efficiency, and reduced emissions. We are focusing on how to support the natural gas and oil industries in providing more efficient technologies, which are safer and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and have some exciting new technologies and advancements that can make that possible. In the past few months, we have made several announcements regarding developments within our product lines and partnerships with other companies who are leaders in the use of hydrogen and carbon capture technologies. These advances will help both Caterpillar and Solar in how we can offer our customers more sustainable solutions. We believe that natural gas will support customers for years to come. Natural gas will play a key role in supporting global energy equity and energy security. Many countries around the globe need an increased supply of better, cheaper, and more reliable energy sources in order to support the growth of their communities and economies. Everyone, no matter where they live, wants to turn the lights on, keep their food fresh, charge their technology, and stay warm in the winter and cool in the summer. These basic needs require an exponential increase in energy generation, and natural gas will be a big part of the solution. At Solar Turbines, we are investing in carbon reduction solutions, including operational efficiency, methane abatement, fuel flexibility, carbon capture, hydrogen, and a suite of digital products. We have long been a leader in hydrogen development with significant experience supporting customers and lowering emissions with hydrogen-powered units. We believe one of the biggest opportunities to enable carbon reduction is pipeline gas application market, where hydrogen will displace some portion of the natural gas in the pipeline for energy storage purposes. It's expected that the hydrogen content of the gas will not exceed 20% for the near future, since the required hydrogen production volume will be very large. However, Solar Turbines is committed to supporting the industry with 100% hydrogen capability. Solar Turbines has a lot of experience and is a leader among gas turbine OEMs in hydrogen. We started this journey in the 1980s with a gas turbine using 40% hydrogen as fuel. As of today, 46 generator set packages have been sold and are operating in China on coke oven gas, which typically contains 55 to 65% hydrogen. Nearly 2 million hours of operation have accumulated. Solar Turbines is also working with the European transport system operators as we prepare to test existing equipment in several locations in Italy and Germany on fuels with hydrogen content between 10 and 20%. The objective is to evaluate and confirm that existing equipment can work in the future once we begin to see hydrogen flowing commonly in pipelines. The latest technological developments make gas turbines an integral tool in achieving tangible carbon reduction and are part of a sustainable future. Solar Turbines and Caterpillar are partnering with many oil and gas companies to help them attain their sustainability goals. We look forward to continuing our cooperation with Kazakh and Russian companies and relevant government agencies from the local to the federal level, and are committed to finding more ways to contribute to help you achieve your current economic and environmental goals. Thank you so much for including me in this important forum.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you.
So it's time to summarize. Yes, there is one question if we have some time, because I've got some questions. It came from Saudi Arabia, and don't you think that it's doesn't worth of investment, because for its production we need CCS, maybe to use hydrogen. So if the Russian side can answer this question, it would be great from its high level of expertise. It will be very interesting. Very difficult technological question, actually. Please, distinguished colleagues, maybe, briefly speaking, there are many ways of actually getting this hydrogen. Of course, no need to go to the sun to get it, but the most efficient one, this hydrolysis of the methane, and for us, we know it, for the countries that have the great resources of natural gas and methane, economically reasonable way of getting the hydrogen by means of providing transportation and energy. So the question of CO2, this is technically speaking a problem that can be solved. So what to do with CO2? That's what we are trying to consider and to understand. And other countries trying to be oriented in this direction, and Japan and Korea as well. So what kind of hydrogen we're talking about? Getting by means of hydrolysis of the water, the reasonable way to get it, because, for example, we see that the European countries follow this way, and with the help and support of hydrogen to solve these problems. So this is the question of kind of deep diving, in fact, because the gases itself, there are many ways. Of course, the natural compressed gas, liquefied gas, it leads to not more than 8%. 8% of energy consumption to get this compressed liquefied natural gas, and again, if it can come up to 20%, depends on the technology. So we get just different quality of the goods. You can transport this product by means of sea transportation. It becomes available for the customers, for whom it used to be not that affordable. So the transportation of this gas for far distance, so this benefit forms the world gas market. And in perspective, as adding this methane by hydrogen, it will be the century of gas for sure anyway. Yes, thank you so much. It was argumented. Maybe, Thomas, you would add something as well from your side?
Yeah, I think it was covered pretty well. I think one of the issues which was mentioned by the Saudi side is on the cost side. So I think as technology develops, the expectation is both from green and blue hydrogen that the cost would come down over time. But that has to be seen as we move forward. But certainly I agree that it is a very strong outlook for natural gas from the blue hydrogen side as well.
Thank you.
Уважаемые коллеги,
Distinguished colleagues, thank you. Did you listen enough to us? I can add something from my side. Of course, we have many different questions for consideration. One perspective of reduction and reducing the CO2 carbon footprint, and it depends on not only that the gas during the process of burning is cleaner fuel than carbon or petrol, but this compressed, this liquefied natural gas helps to reduce the carbon footprint, even in the process of its manufacture. If we have energy efficient technologies, the modern ones, 3 generation, quadra generation, and the perspective like capturing, carbon capturing, and etc. So when we produce this compressed natural gas here, we were talking in St. Petersburg yesterday, a big conference about this. Regarding hydrogen, is absolutely separate story. We have the world designs and works that took place, and that hydrogen, of course, it is something that I think, and for Russia and for Kazakhstan, is really perspective type of fuel. And of course, together we need to work in this direction. And Caterpillar, by the way, in this direction, they have one of the biggest and largest portion of experience, and they have the engines that work using the gas mixture with a share of hydrogen. So that's all. Chokan, the floor is yours. Yes, thank you so much. It was another question about the compressed natural gas in Kazakhstan. I will answer myself. Manufacture and transportation of natural gas is not considered as a priority because of conditions of our country.
For the fantastic contribution into this panel, which was had been really enlightening and really showing a possible pathway for the energy transition in both Russia and Kazakhstan, and showcasing gas as one of the interesting fuel which still can be used in the energy transition with a minimal impact on the ecology and ecosystem of our Earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, we have 2 minutes left, and I would like to express my gratitude to speakers. Yes, what Chokan has mentioned is absolutely right. Minister of Energy of Kazakhstan has mentioned perfectly about the perspectives of gas sphere in Kazakhstan, and other speakers regarding this question. Of course, regarding Kazakhstan, there are 3 main directions: increasing the degree of the gas portion export, and the extracting of the gas before compressed in the sphere of the petroleum, petrochemical industry. So value added should be there in Kazakhstan and Russia. The load wells, that's another story. Those wells regarding this pressure and etc., we cannot quit them talking about ecological problems, because that can appear, but we have technologies to finish it up and to get the outcome and positive results. And the decarbonization, and those regions that have deficiency and energy deficit, they are really energy deficiency, and gas and turbine generation, or based on the gas from the pipe that was described from KazTrансGaz told us, or compressed gas. So we have many fields and spheres for collaboration. We have brotherhood, we have partnership relations, one economical space and territory, and we think that it is amazing, enormous market for all the participants, and we need to move forward together in this direction, and our collaboration of Russia and Kazakhstan. Thank you so much, distinguished colleagues. Thank you, Astana, London, for participation in our communication. Thank you.
Hello there, and welcome back, and a big thanks to Michal, and also of course to Chokan. They're really fabulous panel, bringing us up to date in terms of what's going on in Russia and Kazakhstan. I just got a few takeaways, so stay with me for just a few minutes. Really, it was so interesting to listen to what they were talking about there. and the Vice Minister of Kazakhstan talking about the growth in consumption and the growth in demand. And we had a great summary there from Chokhan and Mikhail, but just let me add a few other observations, if I might. You know, a lot of work going on there as they transition from coal to gas. And also, I think, from, as he said, petroleum products to gas for transportation. So the big focus, without a doubt, I think, in that panel is that gas is here to stay for the moment, and gas is hugely important. Yes, for domestic consumption right around the region, but also for export and also for use in blue hydrogen. So the transition is definitely happening, and gas will play a huge role without a doubt there. The gas supply, of course, you know, we're hearing there from the Vice Minister of Kazakhstan talking about prices regulated on the domestic market. And they are looking at exporting gas to the Asian pipelines and to the east. Their exports to China probably decreased somewhat, but they're still exporting quite a lot, and also to Russia and indeed to Europe. Renewables, he said, definitely a big focus. They're really looking about the environment. They've cut back on flared gas so much. And of course, they're in talks with the EU on the carbon border tax. So a lot happening in Kazakhstan. And again, as he said, lots to play for the transportation, that gas is probably now, you know, becoming a lot more popular, and they're introducing this at the gas stations will actually mean gas stations soon when we look at it. The president of the Russian Gas Society, Pavel, they're really talking about how they want to be a leader, you know, in the energy transition and putting a lot of work into that. Definitely hydrogen is the way to go. I think that's what the future transformation is all about. And also talking about the Eurasian Economic Union and all of the great work that's been happening there. We heard from Caterpillar, a big player, a big supplier in the region for so many years, you know, active in methane abatement, carbon capture, hydrogen development. They've been working on that for years, as he said. So they are really working with all of the companies in the region to make sure that they can help their suppliers and their producers make sure that they can help lower their emissions. And also he talked a lot about solar turbines there, other company there, and the great work that they're doing. But clearly, as he said, gas has a huge role to play to meet customer demand at the moment and indeed in the future. And also he talked too about the combination turbines that are now off in terms of a mixed fuel with up to 50% hydrogen. So they're operating this already, and he sees a tremendous future in the region. From the Intergas Central in Asia also, Abzal talked a lot about, you know, his work too as the main gas provider for Kazakhstan, what they're doing, reduction of emissions. It's up there without a doubt on their agenda. But as he said, right now, you know, gas is offering competition to renewables. So we're in that transition. And for the moment, you know, gas is needed in terms of blue hydrogen. You heard a lot there about carbon capture, what they're going to do and what they intend to do. But a lot of it too been driven by automation, technology, digitalization. So without a doubt, I think huge progress going on. It's an exciting time in every market. It's a very exciting time in the Russian and the Kazakhstan market as well. And we will continue this discussion shortly, because we're going to be looking at carbon neutrality and energy for better lives, and really looking at the opportunities, the energy opportunities in Kazakhstan. So all of that to come. We'll be back at 9:15 London time.